"Comrades," he said, "you've gone through everything. Listen to what I say. All deaths are hateful to us mortal wretches, but famine is the most pitiful, the worst end that a man can come to. Will you fight it? Come, we'll cut out the noblest of these cattle for sacrifice to the gods who own the sky. And once at home in the old country of Ithaca, if ever that day comes, we'll build a costly temple and adorn it with every beauty for the Lord of Noon. But if he flares up over his heifers lost, wishing our ship destroyed, and if the gods make cause with him, why, then I say, better open your lungs to a big sea once for all than waste to skin and bones on a lonely island." So he's telling his men here, look, let's eat the cattle that we're not supposed to eat, and then we'll just make a sacrifice. We'll make it up to him. We'll say we're sorry. But basically, if he doesn't accept our apology, then we're better off dying at sea than starving to death. So the men are pretty desperate at this point. Thus Eurylochus and they murmured, "Aye, trooping away at once to round up heifers." Now that day tranquil cattle with broad brows were grazing near, and soon the men drew up and their chosen beast around their chosen beast in ceremony. They plucked the leaves that shone on a tall oak, having no barley meal to strewn the victims, performed the prayers and ritual, knived the kine, and flayed each carcass, cutting thigh bones free to wrap in double folds of fat. These offerings with strips of meat were laid upon the fire. Then, as they had no wine, they made libation with clear spring water, broiling the entrails first, and when the bones were burnt and tripe shared, they spitted the carved meat. Just then, my slumber left me in a rush. My eyes opened, and I went down the seaward path. No sooner had I caught sight of our black hull than savory odors of burnt fat eddied around me. Grief took hold of me, and I cried aloud. "O Father Zeus, and gods in bliss forever, you made me sleep away this day of mischief? O cruel drowsing in this evil hour! Here they sat, and a great work they contrived." Lampetia, in her long gown, meanwhile, had borne swift word to the overlord of Noon. "They have killed your kine." And the Lord Helios burst into angry speech amid the immortals. "O Father Zeus, and gods in bliss forever, punish Odysseus's men. So overweening, now they have killed my peaceful kine, my joy at morning when I climbed the sky of the stars, and evening when I bore westward from heaven. Restitution or penalty they shall pay, and pay in full, or I go down forever to light the dead men in the underworld." Then Zeus, who drives the storm cloud, made reply. "Peace, Helios. Shine on among the gods. Shine over mortals in the fields of grain. Let me throw down one white-hot bolt and make splinters of their ship in the wine-dark sea." Uh-oh. Calypso later told me of this exchange, and she declared that Hermes had told her. "Well, when I reached the sea cave in the ship, I faced each man and had it out. But where could any remedy be found? There was none. The silken beeves of Helios were dead. The gods, moreover, made queer signs appear. Cowhides began to crawl, and beef, both raw and roasted, looked like kine upon the spits. Now, 6 full days, my gallant crew could feast upon the prime beef they had marked for slaughter from Helios' herd, and Zeus, the son of Cronus, added one fine morning. All the gales had ceased, blown out, and with an offshore breeze we launched again, stepping the mast and sail to make for the open sea. Astern of us, the island coastline faded, and no land showed anywhere, but only sea and heaven, when Zeus Cronion piled a thunderhead above the ship. While the gloom spread on the ocean, we held our course, but briefly. Then the squall struck, whining from the west with gale force, breaking both forestays, and the mast came toppling aft along the ship's length, so the running rigging showered into the bilge. On the afterdeck, the mast had hit the steersman a slant blow, bashing the skull in, knocking him overside. And I'm going to pick up here on the next video, but this isn't good, guys.